The Psychology of Selling by Brian Tracy. Picture a young man, barely out of his teens, aboard a Norwegian freighter, slicing through the icy dark waters of the North Atlantic. No high school diploma, no special skills, no connections, almost no money. 4 years, he bounces from one manual labor job to another, scraping by, sometimes skipping meals, just to keep exploring the world. Then one day, when those jobs dry up completely, desperation pushes him through a different kind of door. It's a sales position, straight commission. His entire training, here's your cards, here's your brochures, there's the door. For 6 brutal months, this young man grinds it out. Morning to night, knocking on office doors during business hours, residential doors in the evenings. He tries everything they tell him. They say it's a numbers game, so he talks to everyone, throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping something sticks. They say it's a rejection game, so he races around trying to rack up more rejections, thinking that's the path to more sales, but he's barely surviving, making just enough to afford a single room in a tiny guest house. That young man was Brian Tracy. And what happened next didn't just transform his life. It revealed psychological principles that have since created more millionaire salespeople than perhaps any other sales training in history. Today, we're diving into his masterpiece, The Psychology of Selling. This isn't just another book packed with sales techniques. It's about the inner game of success. It reveals something profound. The difference between the top 1% of salespeople and everyone else has nothing to do with what they do externally, and everything to do with what they've mastered internally. By the time we're done, you'll understand the invisible forces controlling your income, your confidence, and your results. You'll learn why your self-concept acts like a financial thermostat, and how to turn up the heat. You'll discover the real, emotional reasons people buy anything, and you'll learn 10 keys that unlock the door to the top of any field. This is more than a summary. It's a glimpse into the mind of a master and, even more importantly, a look at the untapped potential sitting inside you right now. So where does transformation actually begin? If you want to completely change your results, where's the first place to look? Is it a new script? A better closing technique? Some advanced prospecting strategy? Brian Tracy says no. The starting point for greatness isn't out there with the customer. It's right here, inside your own mind. He calls it the inner game of selling. Think about this for a moment. In any large sales organization, the top 20% of salespeople make 80% of the money. That's the famous 80-20th rule, the Pareto principle. When Tracy first heard this, it hit him like lightning. He decided right then to be in that top 20%. But then he learned something even more astonishing. The 80-20th rule applies to the top 20% too, which means the top 20% of the top 20%, the top 4% overall, earn 80% of the money in that elite group. In a room of 100 salespeople, 4 or 5 of them are making as much as the other 95 combined. Now here's the game-changing question. Are those top performers 10 times smarter? 10 times more talented? Nope. Often the difference is razor thin. Tracy uses a brilliant analogy: horse racing. A horse that wins by a nose gets 10 times the prize money of the second-place horse. But is that horse 10 times faster? Of course not. Just a nose faster. That tiny edge in performance creates an enormous gap in reward. Selling works the same way, with one crucial twist. There are no prizes for second place. It's winner takes all. So what is that winning edge? What's that small difference creating such massive results? It's not luck. It's not an accident. It's psychology. The most important discovery of the 20th century for human performance, Tracy says, was the discovery of the self-concept. Your self-concept is the master program running your subconscious computer. It's the bundle of beliefs you hold about yourself, and it determines everything you think, feel, and do. You always perform externally in a way that's consistent with how you see yourself internally. And here's where it gets really fascinating. You don't have just one big self-concept. You have a series of mini self-concepts for every area of life. You've got one for sports, one for relationships, and yes, you have separate self-concepts for every part of selling. Prospecting, presenting, closing, and most importantly, how much money you earn. Tracy calls this your income thermostat. Everyone has a financial comfort zone, an income level that just feels right. Psychologists have discovered you can never earn 10% more or less than your self-concept income level for very long. Have an amazing month and earn way more than usual? You'll feel an almost magnetic pull to burn through that money, vacations, new clothes, fancy dinners, until you're back in your comfort zone. Have a terrible month and drop below that zone? You'll suddenly find yourself scrambling, working longer, harder, smarter, until you're back where your self-concept says you should be. The only way to permanently boost your income is to adjust that internal thermostat. You have to raise your self-concept of what you're worth. The person earning $50,000 a year isn't necessarily less talented than the person earning $100,000. The main difference: one has their thermostat set at 50, the other at 100. So how do you reprogram this deep subconscious belief? Tracy gives us something simple yet profoundly powerful. It's based on this principle: you become what you think about most of the time. You also become what you say to yourself most of the time. The key is controlling your inner dialogue. And the most powerful words you can say to yourself, words Tracy repeated 50 times a day when he was starting out, are these: I like myself. Sounds almost too simple, right? But every time you say I like myself, with genuine feeling and conviction, your self-esteem rises. Your brain releases endorphins, flooding you with confidence and well-being. The more you like yourself, the more you like other people. The more you like others, the more they like you. The more you like your customers, the more they like you and want to buy from you. It all starts with liking yourself. This is the core of the inner game. Your outer world of performance reflects your inner world of attitude and belief. This inner game also explains the two greatest enemies of sales success: fear of failure and fear of rejection. These fears, Tracy explains, are learned. They usually come from harsh criticism in childhood, buried deep in the subconscious. Fear of failure makes us freeze up, procrastinate, avoid making that extra call. A Columbia University study found the average salesperson works only about 1.5 hours a day. The first call doesn't happen until around 11 in the morning, the last around 3:30 in the afternoon. Why? Fear of rejection. It acts like an invisible brake, holding them back. But imagine this. What if a marketing firm handed you a list of 50 people who were 90% guaranteed to buy from you, but only if you called them within 24 hours? What time would you start work? How many coffee breaks would you take? You'd work dawn to midnight if you could, because the fear of rejection would vanish. Top salespeople have built their self-esteem to where rejection doesn't wound them anymore. They understand something crucial: rejection isn't personal. When a prospect says no, they're not rejecting you. They're saying no to your offer at this moment for their own reasons. It has nothing to do with your worth as a person. The mantra of top performers is beautifully simple: some will, some won't. So what? Next. Mastering this inner game, building a powerful self-concept, raising your self-esteem, conquering your fears, is the foundation. But once that foundation is solid, you need a blueprint. You need a destination. This brings us to the second pillar: setting and achieving your sales goals. Top salespeople are intensely goal-oriented. They know exactly how much they'll earn each year, each month, each week. They're not hoping for success. They're planning for it with crystal clarity. Tracy says if you don't have clear goals, you're like a marksman trying to hit a target in thick fog. Doesn't matter how skilled you are, you can't hit what you can't see. He gives us a simple 7-step formula for success, so powerful it can change your life almost overnight. First, Decide exactly what you want. Be specific. Not more money, but an exact dollar amount for the next 12 months. Second, write it down. This is critical. An unwritten goal is just a wish. It has no power. The simple act of writing a goal down increases your likelihood of achieving it by 1,000%. Third, set a deadline. Your subconscious mind loves deadlines. They create positive pressure that activates your mental powers. Fourth, make a list of everything you can think of that you could possibly do to achieve your goal. Every single step. Don't edit, just write. Henry Ford said any goal can be achieved if you break it down into enough small steps. Fifth, organize that list into a plan. What comes first? What's most important? Now you don't just have a goal, you have a roadmap. Sixth, take action on your plan immediately. This is where most people stumble. They have the dream, maybe even the plan, but they never take that first step. Action is everything. And seventh, do something every single day that moves you toward your most important goal, 365 days a year. This creates unstoppable momentum. The very act of writing down goals programs them into your subconscious mind. Your subconscious then works 24/7 to make that goal reality. It sharpens your awareness, bringing opportunities to your attention you'd otherwise miss. It gives you the right words at the right moment. It unlocks that other 90% of your potential most people never tap into. But financial goals aren't enough. You also need personal and family goals, the reasons why you want to succeed. Why do you want to double your income? For a new house? To travel? To secure your family's future? Make a list of 50 or 100 reasons. Someone with 2 reasons to succeed can be easily discouraged. Someone with 100 reasons becomes an unstoppable force of nature. Okay, so we've worked on our inner game. We have a powerful, positive self-concept. We have clear written goals, driving us forward. Now it's time to turn our attention to the other person in the equation, the customer. And the most important question we can ask is, why do people buy? The biggest mistake amateur salespeople make is thinking people buy for logical reasons. They don't. People buy for their reasons, not yours, and those reasons are almost always emotional. Here's the rule. People decide emotionally, then justify logically. Every human action, Tracy explains, aims at improvement of some kind. People buy your product or service because they believe they'll be better off afterward. Your entire job is showing them how much better their life or work will be with your product. There are 2 major emotional drivers for any purchase: desire for gain and fear of loss. Desire for gain is the hope of being better off. Fear of loss is the anxiety of making a mistake, wasting money, or losing something you already have. And here's a fascinating psychological insight. Fear of loss is 2.5 times more powerful as a motivator than desire for gain. People will do more to avoid losing something than to gain something of equal value. A great sales presentation appeals to both. It shows the prospect how much better off they'll be if they buy, and what they stand to lose if they don't. Beyond these 2 core drivers, people are motivated by a whole range of basic human needs. Your job as a doctor of selling is diagnosing which need matters most to your specific customer. What are these needs? Things like money. Everyone wants to make or save it. Link your product to that and you've got their full attention. Security, a deep, powerful need. People want to feel safe financially, emotionally, physically. Being liked, and status. We all want acceptance, respect, admiration. We want to feel important. This is why someone drops $5,000 on a watch. They're not buying a timepiece. They're buying status, health and fitness. We all want long, healthy, energetic lives. Praise and recognition. As Lincoln said, everybody likes a compliment. We want acknowledgement for our accomplishments. The key is understanding you're not selling a product. You're selling what the product does. You're not selling life insurance. You're selling peace of mind. You're not selling software. You're selling 20 to 30% reduced administration costs. The customer is always tuned to one radio station, WIIFM, which stands for What's in it for me. The only way to discover what's in it for them is asking questions and listening. The best salespeople dominate the listening, while amateurs dominate the talking. Use open-ended questions, those starting with who, what, where, when, why, and how, to get the prospect talking. As they talk, they'll eventually reveal their hot button, the primary emotional reason they'd make a purchase. Tracy shares a wonderful story about this, the flowering cherry tree. A real estate agent is showing a house to a couple. The house isn't perfect. It needs new carpets and a new kitchen. But as they pull up, the wife spots a beautiful flowering cherry tree in the backyard and exclaims, "Oh, Harry, look! I had a tree just like that when I was a little girl." The sharp salesperson immediately caught this. It was her hot button. As they walked through the house, every time the husband pointed out a flaw, the kitchen is too small, the agent gently redirected, saying, "Yes, that's true, but look at the beautiful view you have of the flowering cherry tree from the kitchen window." By tour's end, the woman was so emotionally connected to that tree, she couldn't see any flaws. They bought the house, not because of square footage or plumbing, but because of the flowering cherry tree. In every product or service you sell, there's a flowering cherry tree. Your job is finding it. This leads us to the art of creative selling. Creativity in selling isn't about being an artist. It's simply about improvement. Finding better ways to connect with customers and solve their problems. Tracy says creativity gets stimulated by three things: clear goals, pressing problems, and focused questions. To sell creatively, you must first become an expert on your product, your company, and your competition. Then apply 4 key strategic principles. 1. Specialization. You must be a specialist, not a generalist. Specialize in a particular customer, industry, or benefit. 2. Differentiation. What makes you, your product, or your company superior? What's your unique selling proposition? If you don't have a competitive advantage, as Jack Welch said, don't compete. 3. Segmentation. Who are the specific customers who can benefit most from what you do best? Define your perfect customer in detail. 4. Concentration. Perhaps the most critical skill. Focus your time and energy only on those prospects representing the greatest potential. Always fish for whales, not minnows. To put this into practice, Tracy recommends an exercise called mindstorming, or the 20-idea method. Take a sheet of paper and write your biggest goal or problem as a question, like, how can I double my income in the next 12 months? Then force yourself to write down 20 answers. The first few will be easy, the next few harder. But often that 20th answer is the breakthrough idea that changes everything. Do this every day, and you'll generate 100 new ideas a week, 5,000 a year. Imagine the impact on your life if you implemented just one new idea daily. Now we get to the actual process of selling, starting with getting more appointments. The rule here is simple. Spend more time with better prospects. The biggest hurdle is breaking through the prospect's preoccupation. Everyone's busy, thinking about their own problems. Your opening words in the first 30 seconds are critical. They must be like throwing a brick through a plate glass window. Your opening should always be a question aimed at a result or benefit, without mentioning your product. For example, when Tracy was selling sales training, he stopped saying, "I'd like to talk to you about training your salespeople," which got him nowhere. Instead, he started asking, "Mr. Prospect, would you be interested in a proven method that could increase your sales by 20 to 30% over the next 12 months? The response was almost always, "Of course. What is it?" When you're on the phone, your only goal is selling the appointment, not the product. Never discuss price or details. If they ask you to mail something, you can say, "I would, but the mail is so unreliable. Why don't I drop it off personally when I'm in your area on Tuesday?" Be polite, but be persistent. Finally, we arrive at the moment of truth, making the sale. This is where all the psychological principles come together. First, you must understand different buyer personality types. Tracy breaks them down into 4 main categories, making up 90% of the market. The analytical buyer, 25%. This person is task-oriented, concerned with accuracy and detail. Engineers, accountants, bankers. With them, you must slow down, be precise, provide proof for everything you say. Don't rush them. The relator buyer, 25%. This person is relationship-oriented. Teachers, nurses, social workers. They care about how people feel and need to know others will approve of their decision. With them, build trust and share stories of other happy customers. The driver buyer, 25%. Direct, impatient, wants the point. Entrepreneurs and executives. They care about one thing, results. With them, get straight to the bottom line and show how your product gets them what they want, fast. The socializer buyer, 25%. Outgoing, extroverted, likes working with people, warm and friendly but can be forgetful about details. With them, build rapport, have a pleasant conversation, and when you reach agreement, write it down immediately. To be a top salesperson, you must develop personality flexibility, adapting your style to match the customer in front of you. Your sales presentation itself shouldn't be a monologue. It should be a planned, step-by-step process of learning and teaching. For every feature you mention, explain the benefit, then connect it to the customer's specific needs. A simple formula: because of this feature, you get this product benefit, which means you get this customer benefit. And through it all, you must be an exceptional listener. Listening is the white magic of selling. When you listen intently to someone, their self-esteem rises. They feel valued, and they like you for making them feel that way. This all culminates in the 10 keys to success in selling, which are really 10 keys to success in life. 1. Do what you love to do. You can't truly be happy until you know you're good at what you do. Commit to excellence. 2. Decide exactly what you want. Use the 7-step goal-setting formula. 3. Back your goals with persistence and determination. Your ability to bounce back from adversity is the true measure of your character. 4. Commit to lifelong learning. Read, listen to audio programs, attend seminars. Your mind is your most valuable asset. Never stop increasing its value. 5. Use your time well. Plan every day in advance, set priorities, focus on the most valuable use of your time right now. 6. Follow the leaders. Associate with the people you want to be like. Your reference group determines your success. As Zig Ziglar said, you can't fly with the eagles if you keep scratching with the turkeys. 7. Character is everything. Guard your integrity as sacred. The most important factor in any sale is trust. 8. Unlock your inborn creativity. You have more potential than you could use in 100 lifetimes. 9. Practice the golden rule. Treat your customers the way you'd want to be treated if you were the customer. 10. Pay the price of success by working hard. The key is starting a little earlier, working a little harder, staying a little later. Give it full throttle until you take off, and once you reach cruising altitude, you can ease back and enjoy the view from the top. When you step back and look at the psychology of selling as a whole, you realize it's not really a book about selling products. It's a book about human potential. The central, thundering message echoing from every page is that your external success is a direct mirror reflection of your internal development. So many of us are taught to look for external solutions. We want the magic script, the perfect closing line, the secret tactic that will unlock success. But Brian Tracy gently, wisely, turns our gaze inward. He tells us the greatest leverage we have isn't in changing our pitch, but in changing our self-concept. The idea of an income thermostat is one of the most powerful metaphors I've ever encountered. It perfectly explains why we get stuck at certain success levels, and it gives us the key to breaking through. We have to believe we're worth more before we can ever earn more. What makes this book timeless is its grounding in fundamental human psychology. The fears of failure and rejection are universal. The need for status, security, and acceptance drives us all. Tracy didn't invent these principles. He simply observed them, mastered them, and codified them into a system anyone can follow. His own story, from struggling commission-only salesperson to global authority, is the ultimate proof these ideas work. It shows us success isn't something you're born with, it's something you learn. So what can you do right now to put these ideas into practice? First, start your own inner dialogue project today. Take a moment, look in the mirror, and say, "I like myself." Say it 10 times. It might feel silly at first, but do it anyway. Do it tomorrow and the next day. Pay attention to how it changes your energy and attitude. It's a small hinge that swings a very big door. Second, try the 10-goal exercise. Takes less than 5 minutes. Grab a piece of paper, write down 10 things you want to achieve in the next year. Then circle the one that would have the greatest positive impact on your life. That one goal is now your North Star. Make a plan and take one small action on it today. Not tomorrow. Today. That small action creates momentum. And momentum is the engine of achievement. Finally, the next time you talk to anyone, a customer, a friend, a family member, make a conscious effort to listen more than you talk. Practice pausing for 3 seconds before you reply. Ask, "How do you mean?" to understand them more deeply. This simple shift, from wanting to be understood to seeking to understand, will transform the quality of all your relationships, personal and professional. That was a summary of The Psychology of Selling by Brian Tracy. We've explored the core ideas today, but a summary is like looking at a photograph of a magnificent feast. You can see the dishes, but you can't taste the flavors. The real power of this book is in the way Tracy's stories and principles soak into your mind as you read them yourself. It's in those quiet moments of reflection that real change happens. This summary is your map, but the book is the journey. If any of these ideas have sparked something in you, I encourage you to take that journey. You can find a link to the book in the description below. Also, if you found this summary valuable, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Your support allows us to continue exploring the world's most powerful books together. Let's keep learning, and let's keep growing. Thank you for listening.